it's at home.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's different.
Now, what about these? Out of all the skulls and body parts you've collected, what are some of the strange ones? Like the ones with the most sort of like, I guess, twisted story, most even heartfelt story.
A partial, and it's a real sad story because of what I did to it before I knew the story. This was another incident that I bought a big box of junk, and it was wrapped within this and wrapped within that. So I found this human partial that was cut, and a buddy of mine owns a curiosity shop out here in Waco, and she has been dipping her animal skulls and making crystals. I was like, you know what? Here, check this out. Dip this. Let's put some crystals on this thing. This thing's cool. So she did, and it turned out really nice. And I bought a crystal bed little thing from another friend of mine and laid it on there. Well, one day I was going through the boxes of paperwork, and I found who the skull belongs to. I actually have the photo of the lady who the skull is the lady. And I found an article from the New Orleans insane asylum of this female and what her issues were, and that they actually did the autopsy on her. So they're the ones who did the cuts. Yeah. So I've got that half partial cut. There's probably 4 more pieces of her skull spread across the world somewhere. And yeah, that is the most interesting piece I've got. And I hate that I dipped her and had crystals made on her, but then again, I'm all about beautifying things that would be morbid and scary to somebody. And she actually looks really nice.
That's awesome.
That's a good story. That is a pretty touching story there. I mean, so the insane asylum cut her up? Like what?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Was that post-mortem or before? Like, did they perform a lobotomy or something?
Oh, no. She passed away. And they even have the times, like she had passed at 2:30-something a.m. and they started the autopsy at 3 a.m. And, I mean, they have legit notes on her.
That's what's up.
How did she pass away again? Did she?
Now, that they didn't say.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like,
that's
in insane asylum, she
not
passed
documented.
away. How old was she?
She was 34.
Man, like, you're in a insane asylum,
Yeah.
34, you die. I don't think that's gonna be natural causes, man. I think something happened to her. I have a funny feeling about that.
Of course.
You think suicide, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, if anybody could come up with some type of theory, and honestly, it's not documented, so I wouldn't know. I mean, they could have killed her. There's no telling.
Yeah, that is also true, man. The insane asylums back in the day, there was no oversight. They could do whatever.
They were bad.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what led
Yeah, I've read some brutal
down.
stories.
That's what led to them getting closed down. You know, it's like, God dang. I mean, they served their purpose. They just needed oversight. Damn it. Anyway.
I mean, these are people that believed in, lobotomies. They figured that they could scramble someone, and make them normal. And, come to think of it, this skull does have signs of lobotomy tracks. And what that is they have a spike in the eye. There's a part of the brain that makes that behavior issue.
Yeah. How in the world anyone thought, let's just jam this ice pick thing in your eye. Let's just do that. Scramble your brain. You know what's gonna fix your brain? Scrambling your brain.
Well, it was the time before modern medicine, and we knew better. So it was pretty much like you said, Deadman. It's like these people had free reign over their facility. There was no kind of external oversight to keep it in check, so they just did whatever.
Right. Right.
Pretty intense when you think about it. Like, that's funny though. She did have signs of lobotomy. I don't know why I thought of that, but I'm like, I wonder.
Yeah. That is a good
have
one.
somebody drug.
I want to ask you, but it seems like you'd be hard pressed on this one. Like, is there another remain that you have that has a kind of similar story, or is this one like stands out?
This one stands out the most. I mean, the only other cool thing that I have gotten is this child's viewing casket. When I was cleaning it out, fluffing everything up, I heard the pillow crickle, and within the pillow was an actual receipt to the casket made and designed for this child in 1889. So I have that. That's really the only other cool thing that I have to make something original.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah.
Damn, like you have so much stuff and the lore and the stories from it. It's like you're a story collector in a way, but of real stuff, like, personal lives they've just passed on.
That's really what I look for. If you get anything from an estate sale, it's gonna have a story. It's gonna have a piece of article because a physician owned it, a medical personnel owned it. So, and usually medical personnel will have some type of form of education piece to it or identification to it. That's why I love estate sales, because you're going to get the whole package. Now, I can get online and buy skulls all day long that have no stories, that have no paperwork. And of course, anybody can come up with a curiosity story. Just makes that piece really cool. But I go for the actual story. I'm all about freak show type stuff.
Man, I like that. The story is the draw, kind of. Well, I guess the site is the draw, but the story is what people stay for, right? I mean, that...
Yeah.
Do you know how the kid died that you had the coffin from?
No, I do not. Oh, I'm sorry. The 27-year-old. Viago? You're talking about the corpse that I have?
Well, no, you said you had like a child's coffin or something.
The viewing casket. No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't. All I know is that it was built and it was used for viewing. They did stagecoach viewing, so they would go from house to house to house on a stagecoach, and it's a coffin, so it's a box. They lay you in and they put the lid on you. It doesn't swing open or anything. It's fastened, and it's got a sight glass so you can look in. And next thing, I mean, from what I gathered from where it was passed down from haunted house to haunted house, was the story kind of gradually got a little eerie, but supposedly they put it on the ground in one of those iron caskets. And this was borrowed and used a few times from family, friends, and then it ended up in in someone's house until an estate sale, and then it was used for haunted houses. Mm. So whoever had it from house to house to house to haunted house never knew that receipt was in the pillow.
So a viewing casket is that they would actually put a dead person in that and take it from house to house to show people, or am I misunderstanding something?
There's two ways they did it. Back in the day, they set up the funeral at your house. They would bring the wicker casket or the viewing casket, or coffin. Caskets and coffins are different. They would bring the coffin. They would set it up in your living room. They would set the huge curtains in your living room, god awful ugly curtains, and they would set up a funeral. So the people, your family, your friends would come by, view, look at you, all the good stuff, and then the undertaker, at the time was called an undertaker, they would take everything down from your living room and proceed from there. Or